Welcome to the video. We are going to be going over how to set up Mario 64 and beat it under an hour. So we're going to be doing an emulator setup guide, a little controller configuration I'm going to add in there that I think is very useful that I have. And third, we are going to go through every single star of a 16-star run together, and I'll go over any major details or anything that I think could help. Because I personally watch a lot of 16-star runners and beginner runners, and I see a lot of little mistakes that are pretty easy to fix and not that hard. This is why I've made the guide too. I've just been watching a lot, and I've actually gotten a lot of questions about like how exactly do I set up something on my emulator to make it work correctly. So I want to get all like the whole emulator setup out, get the controller setup out, and just put it in one video, and so everything's in one place. It's been a while since I was a complete beginner. I have some beginners in chat, so if there's any questions like while doing any tricks that I just gloss over or don't think about, I think it's really easy, I can go into it in a little more detail. So I think it's very useful having that live feedback. But yes, I do stream at twitch.tv/AussieAdam. I guess we'll Ghostboy, if you could make a pop-up there with your editing skills, or not, you can be lazy. It's fine too, I guess. But I usually start my Mario streams off with a sort of warm-up. And during that warm-up, if anybody has any questions on stars, I'm more than happy to help them with those stars and try to like go over how exactly I do it and what my thought process, if there's any cues, audio or visual, that I use to make a star work correctly. I'm gonna start with emulator setup. So if you have an N64 or Wii, I'll have links in the description to like actually starting off runs. But for now, let's just get started. As I said, we're going to be installing 1.6 from scratch. 1.6 and 1.61 are the only valid versions if you want to get your run on the leaderboard on speedrun.com. Other versions are not accepted due to emulation issues. They don't emulate the game properly. So I'll link that in the description. I already have a copy right here. I already uninstalled it, and we're going to reinstall it from scratch, and just so I can show how to get it working very quickly. So first, just install it. Default settings are fine. If you really want another directory, that's up to you. And we'll go ahead and launch Project 64. I guess first you're going to want, if you're doing Mario 64, I cannot link the ROM to Mario 64, but I will link the Usamune practice ROM, which I think is pretty much a must if you want to get good at the game really quickly. The Usamune practice ROM is so useful. I will put a link to that in the description, and you can download it for yourself from there. But version-wise, if you can find a Japanese version and an English version, the English version is faster for 70-star, and the Japanese is faster for 0, 16, and 120. A 1-star, it's about the same. I think US is a little quicker, but I know a lot of runners, like Dowski for instance, he runs on the Japanese version because the intro is shorter. But anyway, the first thing we're going to want to do is go into settings, and then options. I don't like having the emulator pause when I'm not clicked on it because I like to practice while I watch other streams and things like that. If you really only want to be able to play while it's highlighted on Project 64, that's up to you. And make sure to show advanced settings. Then you want to go to settings. First couple things you want to do, make sure this is on 8 megabytes. And everything else is fine here, at least for these. There's another thing that I see a lot of people not have, and it's on this ROM selection. Status is fine to have. I remove notes and default plugins, and I actually add file name. This is because the Usamune practice ROM, for example, and I put it up front because you'll see it in a second. The Usamune practice ROM, for example, doesn't have a valid file, like a good name, quote unquote. So in order to know what file you're actually running, I put the file name on there. And then you're also going to want to take note of your directories. I personally, you can keep it in the ROM directory. I like having all my ROMs on the desktop. So that's what I'm going to point to. ROMs. And then to keep note of this plugin directory for later, I'm actually going to open the plugin directory. So I have it for later so I can show you guys. But that should start it off, and as you can see, now I F5 because I already have all my ROMs in that directory. And you'll see Usamune, for example, has bad ROM, but you can still see this is the Usamune ROM. So that's how you're gonna, like if you have a lot of ROMs, it's very helpful to actually be able to see it. And then for at least Mario 64, you're gonna go and right click, add Usamune. Yep. And go to edit game settings. And default's fine for everything except memory size. You're gonna want 8 megabytes, and you wanna get counter factor of 1. Alright, yeah, so default, 8 megabytes, counterfactor 1. You want to do that, this is ROM-based settings, it's not emulator-based settings, so you also want to do that for both your Japanese and your English versions. Now, the game's ready to run review. Next I'm going to go over some optional plugins. There is a guide to setting up specific plugins. Those will also be in the description. I will show you the plugins I use, and you can get all those plugins there, except for my controller plugin, which I will also link in the description, which isn't in the guide in the description. But yeah, Jabbo is generally regarded as garbage, and that is the default plugin, as you can see here. So what you're gonna want to do is go into my description, look for the files, the plugins, and that directory we said earlier, like this plugin directory. You want to drop all the DLL files into that directory. As you can see, I have a bunch because I've tested a bunch out. You're probably only going to have 2 or 3. So I'll go over the ones I use. There's other recommended ones in the guide that I've linked in the description, but let's go over the ones I use. So first you're going to want to set those plugins. So I use Glide N64, Asimer's HLE, and Enrage 2.3C. And then those specific plugins you need to set up as well. So you're going to need to go into Configure Graphics plugin. You can do whatever ratio you want. It shouldn't matter too much. You can actually up this VRAM usage all the way up to 9999 if you really want to. Emulation. I actually use this. Emulation, I use a multiple of N64 resolution and never. And then frame buffer, this is the most important thing. You turn that off if you're using Glide N64 plugin that I'm using. For some, the graphics plugin is a little too much for the machine to handle, and there's a light version of it that you can download in the guide in the description as well. Next, you want to go into audio plugin. And for me, like when I use Asimer's HLE, I turn it down because it's super freaking loud. You can also just turn that down in your like volume mixer, because for me it's super freaking loud when it opens. That's fine. It doesn't matter that much. Sadly, I don't know a way to make it stick to the default audio setting that you choose. So you might not want to use Asimer's, but for me it has the best sound, sadly. But I have to keep resetting the sound out back to like a really low volume. And then I will be going over the controller plugin, which is a lot to do. But yes, now I'll be going over the controller plugin settings. I mean, this is very simple to set up. I personally use an N64 controller, and we'll go over this really quickly. For me, I just take off real N64 range and go to 100. But all you have to do is map all these to your controllers, whatever you're using. You can do this with PS4 controller, a Switch controller even, and I personally just like an N64 controller. And if you only have one controller, this is all you need to do, these settings. Me, I have an N64 stick, which is it wears down very quickly, especially if you do throws. So I actually have a Switch controller that I do throws with because it has a nice stick. So to set that up, it takes a few more steps. First, you want to go into config 2 of 2.3C of Enrage. This only works with 2.3C that I know of. But yeah, I take my Switch controller up, left, right. And then we want to go into modifiers. This is the key step here. You go to new modifier, assign mod, and then you can choose any button you want, but this button will be to switch between config 1, which is the N64's analog stick, and config 2, which is the Switch's stick. But yeah, so I use D up personally, and then I go into macros, or not macros. You go into configuration, and you just cycle through configurations and apply. And you do that same thing for the other controller too. So you can switch between both controllers using D-pad up if you cycle through configurations. And that is how you get at least the analog sticks to work. To get all the other buttons to work, this will also be redundant, but I'll show. You can fast forward through this part again, but you have to do this for every single thing. So right, if I want the A button assigned, I have to go in, macro, press the A button, apply. And you have to do that for every single button. So I'm going to do this right now. We'll fast forward through it. Anyway, another big thing, that if you have an analog stick for your C buttons, it's not required, but it's pretty much recommended, since on an N64 controller, for example, all the C buttons are buttons instead of like an analog stick. So when you're, for example, if you mapped it to C left being this, sometimes it jumps back and it actually puts a C right input in there, right? So if I go C left, and it jumps all the way back and gives me a C right input on accident. So to avoid that, a lot of people who run on emulator assign like Y, for example, will be my C left and apply. And then X, for example, will be my C right. A C up and C down, the same thing can happen, but I don't use them as much with my secondary controller because I don't think I C up at all during throws. But so I just assign, I keep those as C up and C down. Using buttons for C is very important. I think it's more important for C left and C right, because a lot more tricks are like costly if you accidentally go back. We will go into the Usamune practice ROM, and that is where we're going to be doing everything. I will be going over every single 16 star and little tricks and trips I have. We'll be going over every single star and some tricks and tips I have for them. These will be just a general guide. I will have links in the description, and I'll mention multiple times that these are just general guides. And for more specific things, there is a Wikipedia page that has how to do every star optimally, so better than me. And there's also the SM64 Discord, so if you're having troubles with a star and I don't explain it, and the Wikipedia page does not explain it, both links will be in the description, by the way. You can ask there for help. But yes, as you can see, as we're going over before, N64 stick's working. I press D-pad up, N64 stick is no longer working, and the switch stick is not working. And that is what the config we did earlier did. But yeah, we're going to be going over Usamune practice ROM next. I'll go over the settings I had. Most of these are pretty optional, and it's up to you, but these are the settings that I like. To get into your settings, you press the D-pad down. So I'll scroll through these really quickly, and if you want, you can match my settings. If not, the link in the description will describe what all of these settings do. So if you really want details, go there. Miscellaneous timer is really useful. This is one I mostly recommend because with miscellaneous timer, you can set little things. So let me load up into Dark World, right? For example, I have coin on. Here. Oh, whoops, now I put coin off, oh my gosh. I have coin on. To change things off and on, it's C left and C right, by the way. But it's super useful for like when you're getting cycles, right? And I have button press on too. So, oh my gosh. So for Shigeru cycle, for example, it's a cycle we'll be going over later. I press the button and a timer pops up, and it lets me know, like, if I know what time I need to get a certain cycle, I know where I'm losing time the whole time. That's what I really recommend the miscellaneous timer being on. You can change these. The L button, you can set to level reset. I set it to level reset, so that's, I press L and it resets. LR does the same thing for here, but level entry. I actually like it on Star Select a little more. I'm gonna make that change now. But L and R will, like, say you're in Wom's Fortress, you press L and R. We can show you actually. In Wom's Fortress. And I press L and R, and it puts me back to Star Select. So that's super useful. So L will just reset the level, L and R will put me in Star Select. You can look at these. I'll go through all these settings. I like low button on D-pad up. You can also put it to pressing all 4 C buttons. And that is when you pause twice, it sets a save state. So pause. Now I can load that save state with D up. And if you had the 4 C buttons, you'd have to press all 4 C buttons. Here's my HUD. I like these settings personally again. Up to you. Look through the guide. Data. That's just if you want a specific like setup. Spawn. So we can actually go into wet dry world with the low here. So I set it to low. We'll go over to star, which is L and R to switch between these. And we can select wet dry world, and it'll start with the water level low. And then miscellaneous other things I use. Probably set the remote to emulator. Depending on what you're using, I guess. That is a quick Usamune setup. We are going to reset. And now we're going to actually start like the 16 star guide portion. Like I said, I'm just going over every single star and a way to do them as a beginner. There are more detailed versions and guides I have below. And there's actually a full run through by Blue Bob that I will have below where he does a 16 star run with all beginner strats. And it's just to prove that you don't need to do strats like Owlus and things like that to get decent at the game. He gets a 1754 with just beginner strats. I really want to stress, if you're focusing on improving first, you want to work on movement. Tricks look cool, but if you want to improve the fastest you can, you want to do movement. That's just clean rollouts, clean jumps, clean long jumps, clean wall kicks. If you want to work on the swag strats because they're fun to you, go ahead. But if you want to improve the fastest, you're going to want to do movement. And that's what Blue Bob's video proves, and that will be in the description. I highly recommend it. And he does some commentary on the stars too. But yeah, the only way that I know of to practice Lakitu skip, and that's the first trick we're going to start with, is to actually go through the file. So we're going to have to sit through this. We can fast forward through this. I do want to stress, though, I'm going to say it around here. There is no way to practice it, so what you're going to want to do is I actually use emulator save states and I hit F5 right before spawn. Because there's no way I know to practice, or you can also pause twice to set the save state here, right? F5 and pause twice. So now we can do Lakitu skip. Like I said, I have descriptions below for most of these tricks that I think are a little harder. I'll keep repeating it. People do it better than me. I just want to show you how I do it and how you can get into a 16-star run and beat the game as fast as possible with decent strats. So for me, I do jump kick upright, long jump straight, C down, C right, jump dive, and 2 long jumps, mostly holding straight. You're going to adjust there. And that's how I do it. I'm going to make a save state, another save state here for later. But I want to describe this a little better. People just don't know how it works. You have to actually be close to the edge. So I can actually, for a little bit, crawl up this side, and Lakitu will not trigger because I'm right on the edge. Yeah. And now, there's a specific spot. Let's load it again. Now, if I jump right into the middle, oops, not that. If I walk into the middle, Lakitu will trigger. So there is a fine line of where you want to be aiming on that long jump. And I want to stress this again. When you're first starting art, just complete runs. I see so many people with times, like even if I didn't get Lakitu skip, and you can see my PB is a 1710, I wouldn't reset. I don't need Lakitu skip to finish a run and to PB. I see so many people just wasting time resetting. Like I said, the best way to practice or to improve is movement. If you're resetting and just watching a 1-minute cutscene every single time and resetting because you can't get this trick, you're wasting all your time and improvement. I know everybody wants that fat PB, but you don't need it. Lakitu skip saves 8 to 10 seconds depending if you get the lead grab or not. So really, like, you don't need those 8 to 10 seconds. I don't need those 8 to 10 seconds to PB. Exact same thing with the next trick we're going to be talking about, bomb clip. Entering this car, I'll go through the movement really quickly. It's actually really interesting. A lot of people I know don't actually know this. As soon as the screen fades out completely to black, you can hold R and it lines you up perfectly. Watch this. So it's faded out, I'm holding R and it lines me up perfectly. Do not press anything else here. Icon straight, like if you're holding up on the controller, like, oh sorry, well, like, if you hold up, it locks the cam in. You cannot be holding up on the controller. You just want it to be neutral and skip all the, you can still wait after it. It still works, it's a little slower though, right? So as soon as it fades out, I hold R. Clear the text box, long jump completely straight, jump dive completely straight, and maybe correct to the door. And then 2 long jumps and you're in the painting. We're ready for our first star. So as soon as you see the light fade out, you want to see down and see... God, I just forgot what I did. See left, oh my gosh. As soon as you see it fade out, you want to see down and see left. And that will line you up with a perfect straight shot. If it doesn't line you up, you can just correct mid. I'll do it once with it lined up and once without it. So I fade it, it's fade out. Now I see down, see left, and it's all straight. 1 long jump and then jump dives. 3 jump dives, and another long jump. But yeah, let's say you don't get it, it's fine. It was really late. Just correct. You can still do the exact same movement, you're just gonna have to correct a little on your way there. And let's make a save state here. Right? Big thing you wanna do, I will have Drogi's guide for this is super good. I will go over a quick tutorial for you, but if you want more details on how to do bomb clip, link in the description again. But yeah, you wanna make sure you're neutral, otherwise you dive. So before you grab the bomb, you wanna be neutral. Right? Neutral. Or if you're really scared, you can just walk up to him like that. That's fine too. And then jump while holding left. See, let me go over that again because that was very quick. So 2 jumps holding left, started off, and then you do a jump dive afterwards, right? Or a jump throw. As soon as the bomb touches the ground, a little before, you'll get used to the hang of it, but you do down right on the control stick and grab. That's the next step, right? So the 2 jumps, throw, down right, grab. And then the next step is to see right and jump back. Ideally you don't get hit, right? So jump, jump, as soon as it hits the ground. C down, C right, or C right, I mean. Down right on the control stick, C right, and then you don't need to do the jump, but it gets you more speed. And that's the first star. Like I said, link in the description of a more in-detailed guide. This is just to get you through a run. Once again, let's go back here actually. Whoops. Same exact thing as Lakitu skip. If you miss bomb clip, it can be like 15 seconds if you ground pound the pole, but I technically don't need a bomb clip to PB. But yeah. So let's say you miss it, just ground pound the pole. Like, oh no. Just ground pound the pole. You don't need it to PB. Like I said, get as many runs in as you can. It helps you PB. It helps you improve the quickest with movement. If I reset if I miss both, I really wouldn't recommend it anybody with like an 18 or above resetting if they miss both. I think you could always PB. I know you will get the urges sometimes, you'll have that rage reset where it's just like, gosh, I can't do anything right. And that's okay to have sometimes, but if you're resetting every run before you even get 1 star, there's a problem there. You can also attempt it again. I personally don't like this. I don't attempt it again. Some people do. But like, I miss it. You can reset the bomb spawn if you just come here, wall kick away, and the bomb should be back up. And you can try it again. Right? I don't try it because I just don't know the setup well enough. But yeah, you can try it again. Alright, and then the movement from here, I'll make a save state, but you can just hold down right. Well, yeah. Hold down right and long jump, and it gets you straight to the door. And then you hold straight down. I'm gonna go over big down movement, down right. You can just dive there. It's a very simple movement. You don't even need to practice that often, maybe once or twice. You can also do a jump dive there if you're a little more advanced. We'll do a nice and easy guide. And then 2 long jumps. Next we'll be going over cannonless. Once again, I think Drogi has another tutorial on this. So I'll go over how I do it, and if you want more in-depth analysis, Drogi's tutorial in the description. Now this is, I skip the text boxes, long jump into the tree, C down, C left, jump. I actually remember, I see a lot of people going around like this. I don't think it's that advanced to skip going around. I'll go over what that looks like in a second. But yeah, you first get to here. You can do the way I just went, cut it a little shorter, but I really don't think it's that difficult to do it this way. C down, C right, jump dive, C right once, long jump up, C right again, up left, jump dive. It's so much quicker, and I really don't think it's that hard. So I try to grab, next step is to grab this ledge over here. My cue for actually jumping to that ledge is I get these first 2 coins, and then I jump. Usually that lines me up and I grab it directly. If you don't grab it directly, it's fine walking down like this. It's completely fine walking down like this. I'll also admit, you don't want to be in the log. Like if you're in the plank, that's never going to work. So what you're going to want to do is just jump, and it pushes you out, right? Which, this is a decent spot for a setup. And then backflip. This is very slow. You can do this all very quickly. C left, C left. This part you have to wait for the full punch to complete. Like you can't, if you do it early, it cancels the punch. Then you tap down so he walks and ledge grabs. C right, C left, C up. You can do up and down. I like up, left, down because I feel like it lines up my down press better. So I do up, left, and down. Obviously that sucked. Of course I missed it. Alright, let's just, but you do miss it occasionally. Oh my gosh, this is tragic. Backflip, C left, C left. Punch. Crawl down. C right, C left, C up. Then up, left, and down. A big thing people mess up is they're not holding directly down, and that might have been what I just messed up. So you can literally just look at your controller and make sure you're holding straight down. That's the 2 big things people mess up are punch canceling, or there's 3 big things I mess up. The ones I see most often are 1, they just Jesus. They jump and they ledge grab all the way out here or something ridiculous. Or even like here, that might be decent, but like they're way too far out. There's a lot of gap between them and the plank. You don't want that much of a gap. You can actually, the old setup was actually them actually walking here to make sure they got the right part. Yeah, having a non-notched controller does make this a lot harder. Punch, down. Yeah, the second thing was punch canceling. Like I said earlier, you have to wait until the whole punch animation cancels before you tap down. And the third one, as I mentioned earlier, is holding straight down after this. Like that. I did not hold straight down. It was a little to the right. I don't know if you guys could see that, but it was a little to the right. But those are the big things you mess up. Let's go over the next star. Shoot into the wild blue. Let's just do beginner movement. Long jump into a tree. I like C down just for a better angle. Jump over. And we can set this up really slowly, right? I'll go over a better setup later, or a quicker one later, but you can just set up. You just turn your camera, and your goal is to get on top of here. You just want to practice this a few times. I know wall kicks are a little funky. But just practice it. You can end up doing this quite faster. And I'll try to tell you like what I look for. You can do this straight after here. What I tried, I'll do it first once for you. Like that. That's a lot quicker than having to like see left again and line up a perfect flip like this. What I actually try to match is you see this angle. This is almost perfectly 45 degrees into the wall. So you can always wall kick there. So my visual cue is I try to line up Mario's side flip very close to that angle. I don't know if many people use it, but that's just personally what I look for. I just try to line up Mario somewhat similar to that, to the fence post. Continuing without saving is technically faster on emulator, barely, and it is faster always on N64. I personally do it on emulator just so I can reset the game and not have to delete the file when I'm doing runs. All right, next star will be killing the Womp. I am not going to go over Alice because you definitely do not need that to. But the same beginning movement. Jump dive, jump dive. I'm gonna go and then just triple jump and dive. If you're scared to do a triple jump, you can also line up a side flip here and dive. And then just long jump over here and talk to my boy. So I do it a little different. I like pounding both of his cheeks just so they both get a little love. People do the jump kick setup. That's fine too, but I'm gonna. So right here, I'm over the star spawn right here. Let's see if I can pause the game. Darn, I can't even see. All right, let me load a save state. All right, see, I try to line up my visual cue for where the star is. I just try to get Mario in this somewhat. I don't know the exact position. You get the feel for it after a while. But the biggest tell is this dark line that he's on. You see, it's like grid lines, and I'm on a dark grid line. I just look for somewhere around this area. You'll get the hang of it, but you just try to get the feel of where the star will actually spawn. And then same movement for the next star. So basically, when you're entering a level, it stores this text scroll speed, right? I'll show you guys, I'll make the example. So if I'm holding right, it's gonna store the text scroll speed for the next time the save and continue menu comes up. So the next time the save and continue menu pops up, look at my control stick, and I'm gonna be holding down, and it'll almost instantly jump to continue without saving. And that's why I default to holding left, but for this specific star, I need to hold right. Otherwise, the Womp spawns again, and I need to get to the top of the fortress. But yeah, I hold right. It stores that text speed. Well, yeah, there's other guides to this. Same movement, you'll figure it out. There's two things you can do here. First, not get hit by that guy. We'll go over the beginner stuff first. Just long jump over, and you can do a side flip double jump like that. There's also more. I can go over the little more advanced movement. I don't think it's that difficult. And you can also just jump straight here. This isn't the advanced movement. I'll do the advanced movement next. You can always do it with a side flip if you miss that first side flip. All right, and then we'll go over the next movement. The big thing people issue they have is they start here and they just keep bonking into that. It's completely fine to just run around. You have plenty of time, right? So I just walk left and I just do a triple jump. Ideally, I hit it, obviously, but you do a triple jump like that. And then the visual cue, I do a side flip dive here. You can also do a side flip long jump, but I have a visual cue. I'm gonna punch. As soon as it gets to here, right where I was, I do a side flip, right? So it's right there now. I should have done it earlier. Obviously that was slow, but that's around where my visual cue for the side flip up to the top of the fortress is. And now pay attention, I'm holding down, and it should dump directly to continue without saving, very quickly. And that's from the text storing I was talking about earlier. Same thing, if you do the text storing thing, hold right, and we'll get this. I long jump into the tree. I want to pause it here. No, we'll wait for it here. You can practice that. I like swinging right here because if you jump into the owl with any momentum, Mario keeps that momentum. So once you let go of the owl, you're going to have to adjust midair. So it's easiest just getting to a certain spot and just jumping straight. So now Mario has no momentum going backwards or forwards. And you can drop right into the star. Right. He does not, he just drops straight down. And now I'll go over what happens when, like, some people, they get over here and they just, like, run and jump into him. He's actually keeping that speed, and he has it as backward. He drops off the owl because he's basically running into the owl. So as you'll see, he'll go backwards here. Like he's moving in the air there. And then movement out of here, I hold close to down right, but a little bit off of down right. You can do two ways. Let me save state right here, actually. You can do jump kick and then jump dive, which is nice and easy. You can also do jump, roll out dive, jump dive, which is a little quicker. And then down left-ish, long jump, jump dive. Or jump roll out, or dive roll out. And then two straight long jumps. A big thing people have, they don't hold up the whole time, like that. Another one they have is they wait too long before long jump. It really doesn't matter. This is like very, very minor things, but the earlier you long jump, the better, and you can just long jump twice. Like that's what happens if you long jump too late. But it's really easy to get in there. First star I'll go over two ways to get wall kicks will work, and a few more details about it. The easiest way is just a double jump. And then wait until you're past this little ledge, hold back, and kick. Then reset your camera right twice. And then we'll make a safe set here. You can do two movement. This one's a little more advanced, but you can do a triple jump right onto this ledge, which is nice and quick. Whoops. Wow. Apparently I'm bad. Let's say you miss it, right? You can practice that movement. The worst case scenario is you bonk like here, and you can back it up really quickly by a wall kick or a jump dive. It's really not that advanced. I recommend going for it if you're confident in your triple jumps. If not, just get up here with a side flip or wall kicking into that wall. This next star, I see left once, and if I had a visual cue, I'd say it's around here. I get here, hold straight down, hold straight up, and then wall kicks. If I were to come up with a cue. I see a lot of people that are starting out, they go all the way up here because they're really scared of those wall kicks, and they do like this way, which isn't the worst thing, but I say just go ahead and learn. It's really not that difficult. Get this correct angle. Pay attention to where this little dark spot is and where that line is, and hold straight down, straight up, and then some wall kicks into the right direction, and you can actually go right into the star. Second way to do that star, a little more advanced and a little scary. You can go for it if you want. It's a little roll out. You can't kick with this roll out, but it is quicker. Well, yeah. See, that's why it's scary. That is why it's scary. You can accidentally hold back too early. But yeah, same thing. Triple jump there. See left, pay attention to that visual cue, and wall kick. Right into the star. Next one, you can just practice this triple jump and you'll get it. You'll miss it occasionally too, it doesn't really matter. Right? You just want to get up here. Let's say you can bonk. Just double jump up there. But don't miss. Anyway, grab the penguin. This will come in handy later, but when Mario's moving with something in his hand, he's really slow, so you want to jump with it. So this one is two quick jumps to the right, and you just slide down. I hold right this whole time. Oops. You do direct the penguin a little. You just try to follow somewhat of a similar path. I hold right for a while and just like do little adjustments to get to where I want. And the big thing is, I want to try to get right there every time, or close to there every time. If you're too far right, he actually drops the penguin due to wind. So and if you're too far left, you can bonk right here or fall. You can actually bonk on that wall like that. So you want to just hug it correctly and then talk to the penguin. It'll take a little bit of practice, but you'll get the feel for it. For sure. Like I said, more detailed guides in the description, and Blue Bob's guide as well, where he goes over it. But I just want everybody to know how I do stars. Just jump kick and two long jumps. You can actually, so after you're done with the A press here, you can keep, or like on your last A press. So, oh wait, there's no, I was expecting a text box. But anyway, in general, you can buffer your A's if you're going to kick straight away. So right now, I'll press A, and now I can kick, and then long jump, long jump. You can keep A held. And then jump kick over. You can actually do a single jump over. Jump kicking is a little safer, and then you just side flip. But you can do a single jump over, which is a little quicker. I want to stop it here. If you want to improve, I recommend doing Dark World Reds. If you want to complete runs, you don't need to do Dark World Reds. But if you're confident in not dying, even if it's a slow cycle, I recommend doing Dark World Reds. Eventually, it'll be so worth it for you. And I think, personally, practicing Bowser stages helps your movement the most. Like for me, when I was trying to improve, grinding Dark World Reds and just Fire C for Zero Cycle helped me improve my movement all around for this game. So I'm not going to go over how to not do Reds, because I'm not even going to go over that much. There's going to be a link in the description of how to do Shigeru Cycle. I'm going to show you what I do. Maybe I won't even get Shigeru Cycle. And that's how much it doesn't really matter. As long as you complete Dark World Reds in 16, it's fine. So I'll go over how I do it. There will be a link in the description of a very detailed Shigeru guide. I think it's by Marshall. We can correct that if needed. But there will be a link in the description of a very detailed guide of how to get it. I want to start this up. Maybe I'll go over some little things that I noticed. But you just get the feel for that button press. Most of this is getting the feel. Look, I'll even get like a bad cycle. It really does not matter as long as you're confident not dying to Dark World. When you're first starting out. Even me, I don't need Shigeru to PB. I could get late cycle in PB. I just recommend going for it. I can get shocked, doesn't matter. Just be confident not dying. And if you don't go for Shig, just go for the easy route of going to this cheese block first. And just do 2 safe long jumps. Side flip up. Jump. You want to dive earlier and let him slow down. If you have too much speed, you're going to ram your head into the wall and die. So you do want to slow down a little on that jump dive I just did. Just for some small tips that I noticed, and just jump over. Won't go over it in that much detail. The link will be in the description of a much better guide than I could do in this just get a run finished video. Or finish all the stars in the game, or 16 stars. I switched to my controller, I press D-pad up, and I'm switching to this one. You can 2-spin Bowser. I think you can theoretically 1-spin. I do 3 just so I make sure I have enough speed. You get a feel for Bowser throws eventually. I'll go over Bowser 3 a little more, but Bowser 1, Bowser 2, you'll just get a feel for how much you want to spin him. You will miss it and run, so don't be too discouraged if you miss a throw. Because everybody's done it. And we're halfway through, that's 8 stars. Or 9 stars if you got Dark World Reds. We'll go over the rest of the route though. Long jump, jump dive, you'll get a lot of this is getting the feel and just like finding the right notches, and I do have my controller inputs up there if you want to see directly. I just thought of something I want to do. A lot of people have trouble with this. You can punch twice if you're holding upright, and you always dive. It's a little slower because you have the punch speed, but it's safe because otherwise you might ledge grab. Long jump upright-ish. Dive roll out. Long jump Mario Cam. You can probably improve cost of movement. That's just what I do. Please feel free to watch somebody better than me. I'm just going over how to finish it. Alright, I'll show a few tricks for this one. We're going to do talons first. I do C down, jump kick, jump dive, jump, dive here. And then I will, right here, we're going to pause it. If you're running up this right side, the shy guy will not follow you. Right? I see a lot of, the fly guy, I mean, will not follow you. I see a lot of people, they keep losing runs to the fly guy. So what is happening? The shy guy spots you. No, that doesn't work. The shy guy spots you, and he starts moving towards you. So if you're on the left side of this pillar or towards the left, sometimes the shy guy will see you and come close in. That time he didn't because he was breathing fire at me. It's hard to get directly because it doesn't always happen, which is why people get a little upset. But okay, he's being a little nice to me. Sometimes he'll come in. I think anybody who's ran this game or seen this game ran before have seen where the fly guy just comes in and wrecks people's stars here. But if you're running up the right side, you really shouldn't have that problem. Then for this long jump, you want to neutral as soon as you hit, and you keep all that speed. Watch all the speed I have here. Neutral, and look how he runs. Look, I almost jumped over the talon, over the bird, right? Neutral, and he keeps all that speed he had. I'll show you what happens if you don't. If you keep holding a direction, he loses a lot of speed. He's not flying. He is not flying nearly as fast. So if you neutral as soon as you hit him, he keeps all that speed. Another thing, sometimes you are a little slow here. And the more you hold A, look how much longer Mario stays in the air. So he stays up higher for longer. So if you think you're going to miss the talon, if you're holding A, you have a better chance, right? Look, he's falling, well, that time I hit it. I was trying to say, he's falling, but he's falling much quicker this time. Whereas if I hold A like that, he stays in the air a little longer. So if you're afraid you're going to miss the bird, you hold A longer. And then Mario KMC down, jump kick, long jump, right into the star. Or if you only miss like that. And I'll go over 2 ways to do this next one. I personally don't think the more advanced strat is that hard. You see down, see left, jump, kick, double, okay, obviously I'm bad. Jump, kick, double jump, triple jump, dive. Is like the beginning movement. If you're scared you're not going to make it, hold on to your dive. Because if you dive too early, you sometimes just will be too short, right? Well, that time it worked. But sometimes you mess something a little bit up and you think you're not going to make it. Okay, that was just a really poor example of not making it. Apparently I'm too good at this game. But like that, you'll slide down. If you're afraid you're not going to make it, just hold on to your dive. And you'll get the final height you need at the end. And then there's another way, if you're too scared to do that, which is understandable, you can just line up a perfect triple jump like this. But yeah, and then after that, it's just completing another triple jump. Be careful not to be holding too much far right, or you will ledge grab this. You'll get the feel for it. You'll ledge grab it a few times and be like, oh, I just need to be a little further left. But it's definitely a feel thing. And then you can just triple jump up and walk into the star. And this movement is actually pretty simple. You long jump once, wait for the camera to change, hold up, and then you long jump twice. See right at the beginning for lava. Just all beginner strat. This is very easy. Get burnt once, long jump again. You don't have to dive here. I recommend diving because you'll get the feel for it, but you can just walk and get all these coins if you want, and then dive for the last one or something. But it's definitely quicker if you put little dives in between. But if you're scared, just do the walking, but I recommend trying. You just have to neutral so you don't have too much speed like, in the middle of it. And it's a lot quicker than just walking for them all. Yeah, this one's just hold right, long jump, and just jump. Now it will depend. If you did Dark World Reds, you'll be at 12 stars and Toad will be here. Toad does not spawn until 12 stars. A big tip, so a lot of people punch him. You can walk into him as much as possible, and as soon as you see his vest light up, that's when you can talk to him. It really doesn't lose that much time punching in though, so don't get too upset. But yeah, that's what you do. If else, you just jump straight in here. We will go over, I know I didn't go over how to do Dark World without reds, but we will go over the star. And we'll go over the beginning of this, because I think this is very useful that I don't see many people do at all. So I'm going to point this out, right? Right now I'm holding up. Look how long Mario waits before he starts moving when I'm holding up. So even when he's hit the ground, he's not moving. A lot of people like see right, they do like, they try to line up their camera early and look, it just looks like a wonky camera. You can still make it, but you have to like play around with the joystick a lot. If you wait until you hear his feet hit the ground, see down, see right, it lines you up perfectly to the door. Like, look at that. I'm holding up, see down, see right. And I'm not losing any time because there's still a bit of time in between before Mario starts moving. So you can wait for Mario to hit the ground, see down and see right, and it lines you up perfectly to the door. One more time. See down, see right. Perfect lineup. Might want to neutral the stick a little. But for Beast in the Cavern, jump kick, long jive, long jump. I like bonking here. And a big thing here, so pay attention to where I'm holding. A lot of people go way too far to the left here. You want to have a little space. You see the black blob I'm on? You want to see a little space. And just let the elevator push you through. At the loss, I should have made a safe state. See, look, I did the wonky strat there, and it looks weird. But it's perfectly lined up. Walk into here. Look, I do a little different at the end, but yeah, right here. If you're holding up, you're not really aligned that well, and it can be a little dangerous. So what I do, as the elevator is pushing me through, I start holding upright, and it lines you up with the star. Like, starting holding up right now, and I'm lined up with the star. Lined up better with the star. You can line up right onto it, too. Yeah, and this is a star you only do if you did not do reds. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. If you do reds, skip the star. And then now if you didn't do reds, now you would long jump over and talk to Toad for the star. Give him maybe a punch for good luck. Yeah, and then just get back in there. For this star, I like to Mario KMC down when I'm jumping over. I think it lines me up a little better. I jump kick, do a double jump wall kick, while holding, the big thing here, I should have made a safe state. But anyway, you can do this without the ledge grab. I just did it with a ledge grab. But just, it takes a little practice. I don't really know if I have a specific lineup for you, but if I did, it would be like this, right above that, like that black dot, I guess. If you're aiming for something, right there. But yeah, the longer you hold A, if you don't hold A along, whoops, I did the wrong movement there. Oh, far out. We'll go over it again. Now just C down, Mario Cam C down. You don't really need to do it, I just like the way it lines me up. Like, you want to hold A on these wall kicks because it gives you enough height to get there. It's fine, if you miss it, that's fine. Maybe kill a bug because he sometimes gets in the way, and just do a side flip wall kick. And hold A. That is the biggest advice for this star. When you get the wall kick, hold A. Because that gives you enough height and you can skip the ledge grab too. So this is all upright notch, by the way, until here, then I hold up. I guess I should have gone into a little more detail about that. The jump kick, I like the way it lines me up. The buffer kick, and a big thing about the buffer kick, I can be holding A from here, right? And I've entered through the door. Buffered kick, and then a double jump. I just like how it lines me up, personally. Yeah, it's all a line-up thing. You don't need it, but I like how it lines you up. So one more time. I'm holding A through this door. Upright notch. Then switch to a little up, and then long jump over. I see a lot of people going for that triple jump strat to the left side. That at most saves half a second. And it risks you dying. So I honestly, Slippery Nip, who is like in contention for the 16-star world record, still goes to the right side, for example. You really do not need to do that triple jump wall kick. I know it looks really cool, but it really does not even save that much time. And lastly, the last star before we catch MIPS is the boulder star. Watch for rolling the rocks. You can hold straight most of this time. You do one long jump dive, dive, roll out. I like to do this. That takes a lot of practice. Not really recommended for beginners, but you can try it if you want to like test your skills. Let's just do it the impossible way. And that's a good example of a shoulder. Just jump around it and just, you have to make adjustments based on where the boulders are. The first boulder being the most important. But yeah, let's do it cleanly without a shoulder. Long jump dive, dive, roll out. Just go over here, you can see left if you want. And go into the star. Nice and simple. But if you want to test your luck, you can try rolling out into the star and you can try that double jump wall kick that I was doing. Then here we'll save state here. I personally like doing this jump kick. I know it can be a little intimidating and it's very possible to accidentally dive in there like that, right? But as long as you hold back in time, it's fine. If you're too scared, you can always just go around like that. I don't know what good. Just go around and then just do a double jump. Yeah, jump, hold back, kick, double jump. All right, I will go over the beginner movement first, and I don't think the other movement's too hard, but you just... I think the real beginner movement's just chasing you into this corner. I'll make it a little better. A lot of people like this side flip, and they side flip dive, and clearly I don't do it often. Let's do that again. Long jump over here. You can jump dive and try to catch MIPS. The real thing is, you just slide into your arms over here. That's what I like to do when I first started out. If you're like sliding down that hill in that general direction, whoops, definitely don't do that. If you're sliding down that little hill at the end in that general direction, he usually jumps into your arms, and you'll get the feel of where you need to dive down this hill for him to jump into your arms. Like, he's gonna run right into my arms here. But we'll go over a little more advanced movement here. As you see, I could have also caught MIPS on the way there, so you feel free to try to catch him. But what I do, and it does take a little bit of practice. So if you want to just do a run, do it the other way, but here, you just roll out, long jump, dive, wait a bit, dive. I'm actually too fast for MIPS, believe it or not. I need to either slow down or jump dive into him earlier. And he jumps right into your arms. We'll go over 2 setups for getting through the door. One's just quicker and one's just more precise, I guess. These are the 2 I know. There's definitely more videos on it. I'll try to link one in the description. But what I like to look for when I'm doing this setup is you see his hat when I'm walking forward. That corner of his hat is lining up with the corner of the wall. You see that? When I was in the right direction before? That's your cue to crouch. That is the first setup. Well, I guess this is practice from here, right? just jump. And like I said earlier, when you have something in your hands, Mario walks slower, so you're going to want to do tiny little jumps. Be sure not to jump too high or not too close to this flame. Wait, I thought there was a flame there. Either way, don't jump too close to flames. There's a flame right here, and you can technically flame there as well. But it's the same sort of setup, I just do it faster with non-Mario Cam. That's just for speed. And there's situations like this, which I'm glad I set up, where you don't punch MIPS. A lot of people just retry, but you jump, and while you're in air, you hold right, and that pushes you a little closer to MIPS, and sometimes you'll be able to grab him. Like that, see? I couldn't grab him the first time, I jumped and held right. The big problem with that one is, I'll just demonstrate, you can only press right while you're in the air. If you press right when you're on the ground, he just goes through the door. And I'll demonstrate that now, right? I press right, and he just goes back through the door. So you have to jump while pressing right to reline yourself up. Let's just say we get it right. See? Jump, hold right. Make sure you stop holding right by the time it's over. Then here you just jump and hold down. And he clips through the door. And same thing, you want to jump while you have MIPS. Same sort of setup. You can actually be a little further in. It's possible to drop MIPS through the door, but it's the same sort of thing. You can actually, your hat can be this far in and you can still clip through. This one's a lot more forgiving. But yeah, so you don't really need a setup for that one. Do the same sort of thing, but make sure your hat's even closer, even further past the hinge of the door. I do not do the shadow lineup. There is a shadow lineup. I'll link in the description about other lineups, but the lineup I like is based on his hat, and I feel like it's more consistent for me. But anyway, for swimming, you hear the swimming that's optimal swimming. You want to keep this rhythm going. It's an audio cue for me, and I just have it like timed as an audio cue. You can see when he's making sounds like that means it's not optimal swims. You want to hear the really loud I think that's a weird way to describe it, but that's what you want to hear. You want to hear that juicy sound, meaning he's getting speed with it. I want to make a safe state here. So Mario keeps his momentum when he's jumping out, so I can jump from here and make it all the way to there, right? You can jump from pretty far away. As a beginner, you probably don't want to do that. It doesn't save that much time, so what you're wanting to do is just jump up here and do that. A big mistake I see people make is because he's conserving all his momentum. If you're holding straight up and with no speed, okay, that clearly wasn't right. There's a thing you do, I know a lot of 16 runners have this problem, where they jump up with no speed, and they just miss. Apparently I have way too much forward momentum. But this happens when you have no forward momentum. Okay, apparently I can't do it. Could somebody know how to set up messing it up? Apparently I don't know how to mess it up anymore. But yeah, just make sure you have a little forward momentum while you hold back. And then, I guess I can go over that a little more. I like doing this with speed all in one motion. A lot of people get concerned when they're on the fin, and honestly being concerned on the fin makes it even harder. Because now you have to reset up either a side flip or a double jump. So I don't really like doing that. So I recommend using the momentum you have going forward to turn it straight into a side flip, right? Side flip, jump, and then jump dive. You'll have to practice it a few times, but it's nice and quick, and it lets you not have the issue of like falling over. If you do fall over, pretty simple. Let's just like, oh no, I fell over. If you're from here, you can just turn this into a triple jump. Triple jump dive, and it's nice and free. That's a nice little backup. Now we're on to the second Bowser stage. For this second Bowser stage, I recommend trying the zero cycle movement because the worst case scenario is you get normal cycle. I don't know if there's a good video on zero cycle. I'll try to find one. If I do, I'll link it in the description. If not, go to the Wikipedia page and there'll be a video of somebody doing zero cycle. But yeah, the worst case scenario is you just like mess it up and you get normal cycle. All Bowser stages are all movement, so it's just going to take you practicing it and just getting better and better. I can give some tips. Like for that, you want to hold left a lot longer than you think. And that's zero cycle. It was a slow zero cycle, but I got it. And then it's just long jumps across here. These long jumps take some practice. If you're on N64, it's going to lag a lot. But I see, like, I just got normal, I got zero cycle, right? But let's say I mess something up at the beginning, right? A big thing people mess up is they just can't get this dive out and they burn themselves. Just don't worry too much. Do another long jump from the edge of here. Maybe a ledge grab, and then you can do a triple jump. There's a lot of different backups here, and I'll still make zero cycle. It's just a lot of, it's gonna be grinding out these Bowser stages. Oops, that was 70 movement. See, look, I still had more time to mess up, and I'm still gonna make the next cycle. People do this differently. I don't think that's that hard to practice. As soon as you see that ledge come up, I start a triple jump, basically. And I just, whoops. Well, apparently, we'll have to practice it a little. It's a little weird with the save state. But yeah, triple jump, dive, C left twice, and you're back on the line. I don't think it's that hard if you practice it a few times. You can be a little scared about it and just do a side flip if you want, starting out. But if you're ballsy, I recommend going for that. Okay, but this Bowser state, I think every cycle is like 8 to 12 seconds depending on like ledge grabs, so you really want to make sure you're trying to get normal cycle. You definitely don't need to reset if you don't get it, but really grind out Bowser stages because they can help you save the most time. Same thing, this Bowser, nice and easy. You don't even have to press anything until you need to jump over him. Just jump and kick backwards. Nice and free. Grab his tail when it stops moving, and 2 spins. Once again, that's just going to be practice. And we're almost ready for BLJs, everybody's favorite part. Whoops. Yes, okay, let me go in a little bit more detail. Zero cycle is just the cycle I got of the elevator. To go over like what zero, it's just the cycle of the elevator that I was at before. So the movement is like, you have to be fast to get on the cycle of the elevator, which is called zero cycle. Pretty much. So this elevator is what it's called. We call it an elevator. It's probably not really an elevator, but yeah. If you do it right, you can even do this without a wall kick ledge grab. I'm a little rusty, so I'm getting it with a wall kick ledge grab, but that was zero cycle. And then this next cycle where it comes up again, that's technically normal cycle. And then any other cycle, that's what the cycles are based off. How fast this thing is going up and down and how fast you get to this point. Just jump in there. Doesn't really matter. You definitely don't want to ledge grab, but you exit course. Long jump up the stairs. This next part people think is a lot more complicated than it is. It's just a double jump ledge grab, and you just press A to get through the door again. Or through the... yeah. And you just walk around. It'll just take a little practice getting used to. This next part, I will describe how I do BLJs, but also in the description will be a link to Aki and how he does BLJs. I think the thing you want to take into account, a big problem I see people have is they walk all the way up here, and they try to start their BLJ. Yeah, a BLJ is a backwards long jump, and it is the trick to get through the door because it builds up speed. They didn't set a cap to Mario's backwards speed, or how much speed he could build backwards. So that's where it gets its name. It's called backwards long jump. But yeah, the big problem I see people have is they start from here. Which, while you can make it happen, you're literally only using half of the real estate you have available to you. Maybe not even. You really want to start all the way down here. What I'm standing on right now is technically a step. You can start your BLJ here. Another big problem I see people have is they get frustrated. It doesn't work, so they start doing this. Don't be a lineup Larry because you're wasting real estate in the opposite direction. You're just wasting a buttload of time. If you fail it, just reline it up. Come back down here and try to hit that first step. Long jump down, then you long jump. See, that was too much real estate loss, but yeah. Long jump up, and then a big key that I use, like, it's still hard for me to hit, but I don't start mashing A until he's about to touch the stair, or while he's in the stair even. Like that would have worked. I'm just trying to re-show it. I see a lot of people, you can hear me, they start mashing here. They do these weird angles. Just be straight up at the door. Start here. Then as soon as you see him touching the ground, start mashing A. Another important thing is you want to have a consistent rhythm. You don't even have to mash that quickly. You just want a consistent rhythm. You can do like 7 mashes a second and it'll work perfectly for these BLJs. You just want to make sure you have a consistent rhythm. See? If you have a like varying rhythm, it just messes with the speed of Mario going through the door. and you might just drop an A press because you weren't pressing as fast or as slowly as you were before. You just want a consistent rhythm. And now we also use a backwards long jump here. I like just this camera angle. Big problem, I think a lot of people have seen it. If you go like an extreme angle, you can end up clipping into wet dry world. But I do the same thing. I try to line up as straight as possible. Some people say they like it angled. I don't notice a difference if I'm straight or angled. But same thing, straight down. There is a possibility where you have too much speed. I don't know if I can get that. But if you have too much speed, you get stuck on an invisible wall. Yeah, exactly. You can overclock your speed. If you have too much speed on that invisible wall, what you're going to want to do is just jump, or do jump kicks. I'm trying to see if I can get enough speed to do it. I see people see that they missed it and they just give up. If they get stuck on that wall, you can actually still clip through that wall if you lose your speed by jumping. But the big thing is, if you see yourself getting stuck on an invisible wall and you're wondering why you're not clipping, just start if you start jump kicking to lose speed, you will eventually clip through. Next, I don't know if I have a good guide for this, but let's start. Walk a little, long jump a couple times, double jump. You don't have to do this dive because it is a little concerning. If you really want to practice, get good, do a double jump dive here. But it is possible to accidentally fall down this hole like that. But I would recommend just learning. Watch somebody that's good at bits and try to mimic their movement. I do another jump dive here, it doesn't matter. I recommend doing this one. It's really not that hard of a triple jump. Just make a save state here and just practice doing a triple jump dive. You can go around. I'd say just learn the harder movement. It's really not that difficult if you line it up like that. You can do that, but you can also just start with a jump kick so you don't go too far on the first one. Then you can do long jump over here, double jump, side flip. There's a few options there. Like I said, watch somebody better. I might just go through with the movement I do, and if you guys think it's a little too advanced, just watch somebody a little above your skill level, or maybe I'll do a beginner one too, but you can just jump kick up here. I'll do my movement later. Let's just finish this together, actually. And then this one takes a while to get used to. I won't do left side. I don't think you need left side triple jump wall kick or any triple jump wall kick. If you're interested, I can link tutorials below. I think Jogi has another one for triple jump wall kick, but for this, you can just keep this camera angle. And this is just a lot of managing your speed. You start with a double jump, kick, 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 double jump, kick, double jump, and then triple jump dive. That made it look a lot easier than it actually is. How do you make sure you don't dive? You have to make sure you're losing enough speed by holding back. It's really hard to dive. The way you get too much speed is usually when you just keep holding forwards. If you're neutraling or holding back, oh whoops. As long as you don't have too much speed, you won't dive. So you definitely, like if you're going this fast, you're gonna dive every time. So it's just gonna take some practice of getting used to how much speed you need. I wanna say, if you look in the top right, there's a speed counter. I wanna say like 32 speed is when you start diving instead of kicking. Somewhere around 30 to 32 speed is when you start diving instead of kicking, which is a little useful to know. Yeah, and then you just jump dive off. Long jump. You can do another long, I think another long jump might even be quicker then. You can do the side flip, or you can miss the side flip. Long jump across. Jump roll out. And then triple jump into the pipe. One of these rotating platforms has an axis on it that you can actually bonk into. So you do have to be wary of that, but if you're long jumping from the corner, you usually don't have a problem. But if you long jump too early, if you want to be safe, you will fall exactly like that. So the safe way is just to wait till it starts moving down and do this free long jump over. You want to look out for Goombas because they can troll you. So you do want to make a few adjustments there. Alright, throws. I don't really have a great... I'll tell you how I do it. I always try to line up a bomb with my top left of the corner of my screen. And I think the big key is for throws that you always want to do the same bomb. You want consistency, so you want to do the same bomb order, the same amount of spins. And just, yeah, it's all about consistency. Same bomb order, same amount of spins. A big problem I see people have is they like spin him so many times because they're nervous. So they just keep spinning Bowser forever and they just miss a throw because they're not doing consistent movement. They're basically relearning Bowser every time they're doing throws because they're not doing the exact same thing as they do in practice. Because they're nervous about throws, which is understandable. You just walk around him, grab his tail. I like to line it up in that top left corner and then 3 spins. 1, 2, 3. And I missed. because I'm awful. I actually am surprised that one missed. But you can miss throws. I mean, even like good players miss throws in the run of their lives. Another tip that you can do, let's say you are spinning it so much and you're like getting tired of spinning it. If you build Bowser up to max speed, right? And I hold up left, he keeps that momentum. You see that? I'm just holding up left. So if you really want, you can try to time this throw after you get enough speed. I see a lot of people like do this and they just like make it really weird. But yeah, you just hold up left. You can just hold the direction that you want to throw. Just wait to line it up. If you really want to. I don't recommend doing that because it just like changes the whole grasp of how you do Bowser. But yeah, I line it up at top left corner and try to do 2 or 3 spins. 1, 2, 3. That was a really bad throw, but it works. Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, it's fine missing throws. Everybody misses them. Clearly, I'm garbage too. Top left corner though. 1, 2, 3. But yeah, there's just some tips that I have for throws. Clearly, I still miss them. Top runners still miss them. But the 3 big things, the 2 biggest things are you want consistency in the bomb order and the consistency with the amount of spins you do. And then lastly, if you really are spinning him, don't keep spinning the stick, just hold the direction, because Bowser keeps all the speed he had. But that is all 16 stars and Emulator Setup. I hope that segment will be useful for people. I will put Sean Rader's movement guide in there. If you're still learning the game and you're like, if you want to get a run done, just follow my guide. But if you want to get better at the game, you can practice movement, and Sean Rader has a great movement guide of all the different things in this game, and it'll help you go over a lot. Like I said, I just wanted a place where some resources were that you guys could work on, and I'll have any resource I can think of in the description. I might put it in Google Doc too. And all of this information is also available on the Discord. I just wanted to make a video for all of this information, but on the SM64 Discord, that is probably the place to be if you want to get better. They have all the stars listed out for you in the Wikipedia guide, Wikipedia, whatever it's called. And you can ask questions if there's a specific question you have. And it's just so useful. This guide was just an overview of how to get all the stars, how to set up your emulator. But if you want any specifics or to be better than that, go to the SM64 Discord.